What's happening, guys? In today's video I'm going to be teaching you guys how to improve the Shanghai International Circuit at China using this hot lap with some telemetry data, and I'll also show you towards the end of the video a full hot lap of how I personally tackle this circuit. So let's get straight into helping you master this difficult circuit. Right, okay guys, so coming up to the final corner here at China, you want to brake just a little bit early, so I'd say just before the 50-meter board. Probably around about 70 meters. Just brake lightly because you want to get your foot on the throttle as quickly as possible. The goal being to carry as much speed down into turn one as possible. So you're going to be in fifth gear coming out that corner. Use about this much of the curb and then open up DRS, and then you're starting a lap here at the Shanghai International Circuit, I believe it's called. So coming up to turn one, very tricky. I think the whole first sector honestly is very technically challenging. So going into it, with these heavier cars, you are going to have to brake slightly earlier if you want to carry, a good average speed around the corner. So usually what I do is I brake around about here, just after the 50-meter board. You want to start on the curb and then just swing the car in, and basically you want to be as close to the right-hand side of the curbing as possible. Downshifting into fifth gear, and then you want to just carry that speed. Now there is a little bit of a bump somewhere around this first corner, so you do want to be careful with that. You're going to probably do a little bit of accelerating, as you'll see from the telemetry and as you'll see from the footage in general. And then right around about, I think the bump's right around about here. This bump will send you out just a little bit wide, which is a good thing because you kind of need that. You want to just bring your car out wide through the bump, and then you want to downshift into second gear and then hit another sort of late apex around about here. You're gonna have your foot on the throttle just a little bit, probably no more than 40% for literally a couple of seconds, and then boom, it's slight braking. Just obviously since you're going downhill, you don't want to end up going too wide and lose time. And then you just carry the sort of speed that you had in second gear. And then what I like to do is I like to start putting my foot on the throttle in second gear, and then immediately after I've done that, shift up to third gear, and then get your foot on the throttle as soon as you can, using all the track on the outside to carry that momentum. And then that's going to be the end of sector one. Then for sector two, now once again another technically challenging sector. You're going to be in seventh gear coming into this corner. On the 100-meter board is where you want to brake. You can use the curbing on the braking if you want. And then once again down into second gear for this corner. You basically want to hit the curbing right around about here. Kind of want to be on the curbing just a little bit as well, and then just get your foot on the throttle as quickly as you can, really. Now this next corner in qualifying, based on the setups that I've seen on time trial, in qualifying this corner is actually flat. Now I remember in F1 2021 and I believe even 2020 it was a slight lift, but on 22 it seems to be completely flat with the setups that I've used on time trial, which obviously you can just find on time trial on PC or any platform. This corner is completely flat out. I doubt it's going to be flat out in the race, especially since you'll probably be on medium and hard throughout the race. So you do want to be careful with that in the race. And then this next corner, not flat. You want to shift down into fifth gear for this corner. Obviously you want to hit the brakes since you'll be going full speed, and then just hug this corner as tight as you can. If you're carrying a little bit too much speed like I did in the lap, you'll be a little bit wide and you'll lose time. So you really want to be as close to this curbing as possible. And then you want to get your foot on the throttle smoothly and not too aggressively, or else you will lose the rear end and you will spin. And then once you get to around about this gray patch on the road, this is the braking point for this corner. Right here, as soon as you hit it, boom, you want to hit the brakes, one downshift into fourth gear, and then just carry the speed through this corner, hitting the curbing there. And then for this part of the corner, don't want to hit the curb. If anything, probably use about this much curb at most. You really don't want to hit it though, because it will either cause you to spin on top of the car, or you'll just have to lift and lose time. So just try and stay on the tarmac for that part. Then this part you can hit the curbing, and then this exit curbing, you kind of want to be careful with it, because if you use too much, then the car will sort of bottom out. The car will bottom out and you'll sort of spin. So you probably want to use this much at most, and then come off of it and back onto the tarmac. And then you're just bombing it down to sector 3. Sector 3 being the easiest sector of the track. You're going to be in 6th or 7th gear coming into it, I believe 7th gear. Hit the 100-meter board. Just after that is when you want to start braking in a straight line. Hard braking down into 4th gear, and that's when you want to sort of turn in to this corner here, hitting the apex, which is going to be right here. You don't want to use any more of the curbing than this, or else it will unsettle the car, send you out wide, and that will make the next corner, which is the more important corner, a lot more difficult. So yeah, you want to have sort of a wide entry for this corner, so sacrifice a little bit of the time on this corner so you can get a better exit from this one, because it's a 1 kilometer straight coming up. If you lose time here, you're losing time all the way down to the next corner, and it's a lot of time that you're going to lose. So you want to be on the throttle as soon as you possibly can here. It seems as if you can get to the point where you're flat out a little bit quicker on this game than you can on than you could on the previous games, but I haven't really tested it out in GP Model Online yet, so this is just time trial at the moment. But yeah, you can get your foot on the throttle pretty early, and then if using, again, you don't want to use too much curb just in case the car bottoms out. I've not experienced the car bottom out, but you never know. I've not really used that much curbing there. You don't really need to be honest. And then, as I said, it's a 1 kilometer straight all the way down. You want to hit DRS as soon as you hit the line, and then you're just carrying all the speed from the previous exit all the way down to this next corner. Now this next corner is a very hard braking zone, obviously the hardest braking zone of the track. Just as you pass the Rolex sign, just before you get to the 100 meter board, that's when you want to hit the brakes. Right around about here, I would say, hit the brakes down into 3rd gear for this corner, and then you want to use a little bit of the curbing here, so probably about this much. That's probably a good amount of curbing to use just to get the car around this corner and be able to get on the throttle quickly. Then if you need to, use all of the track on the exit, use all of the tarmac I should say on the exit, just to get the car straight and get yourself past that traction limits phase. And then we have the final corner, which you're going to brake slightly later than you did at the beginning of the lap, because you don't need to focus as much on the exit as you did at the beginning. So instead of braking right as you reach this railing on the right hand side, you can brake a little bit later than that, just before the 50 meter board. I believe you'll be in 6th or 7th gear, and you want to downshift into 5th gear. And then for this corner, you can take a lot of curb like you could in the previous game, but I highly wouldn't recommend it. It'll be just a lot better to use about this much of the curb, so have your left hand tires go over it, and then get your foot on the throttle as quickly as you can. Use about this much curb on the exit once again, open up DRS, and that is a lap around the Shanghai International Circuit at China. So what I'm going to do is show you guys the full hot lap so that you can see in real time how to tackle this technically, how to tackle this technically challenging circuit. So now that you guys have checked out this video, you probably have a much better understanding of how to tackle this circuit. However, this is only one of like 23 tracks on the entire calendar on this game. And that's why I recommend to click right here. There should be a playlist of all the track guides that I've done up until this point. Go and master all of those circuits.